in the past 12 hours of the Donald Trump Epstein connections. I'll start in the past 12 hours and then we'll go back. So Donald Trump's campaign released a new campaign video, an official video this weekend with some rapper, Kodak Black or something is the name of the rapper. That's how Donald Trump believes he's appealing to the black community. That and by selling these like ugly assassination edition sneakers. But the lyrics of the song talk about a woman going on all fours. You'll listen to the lyrics right now. I'm just going to play you 4 seconds of it. Don't worry, I'm not going to play the whole thing. Then you have Donald Trump doing the weird two-fist dance with the guy who was the chair sniffer streamer, the guy who sniffs the butts of women and people who he considers alpha males, whatever. Remember, Trump did that interview with that guy. So he's doing the dance with that guy in front of like a rented Tesla Cybertruck. And then Trump gets on Epstein's jet. So Donald Trump is now using the Epstein jet, the one that Epstein used to traffic women. Donald Trump is like renting that from a buddy of his who's a Republican donor who got it from like the Epstein estate sale. Donald Trump now wraps the Epstein jet, now says Trump 2024 on it. And here's the campaign video that Trump put out. I'm just going to show you 4 seconds of it. Here, play this clip. So I told you I would just start with the Epstein connections in the past 12 hours. Okay, now let's go back. We reported here on the Midas Touch Network that Donald Trump was using Epstein's private jet. Look, Donald Trump's plane continues to break down because he's cheap and his big airplane actually is a horrible airplane. And so is the airplane for J.D. Vance because, again, Donald Trump is cheap and actually has a big plane, but it's not a good plane. So he's been flying around on Epstein's jet place to place. You see him bragging about it there. But I could back up more and talk about all of the Epstein connections here, which I know corporate media is too afraid to talk about. Well, Donald Trump told the New York Magazine or New Yorker, one of the others, I have it right here, back in 2002, that Jeffrey Epstein is a great guy who likes women on the younger side or girls on the younger side. Trump brought his kids around Epstein. Trump hung out with Epstein all of the time. In fact, Epstein would traffic women from Mar-a-Lago. It's an undisputed fact. Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims, was trafficked from Mar-a-Lago. She was found at Mar-a-Lago. She was homeless. She then got a job at Mar-a-Lago after being homeless. And then Ghislaine Maxwell found her at Mar-a-Lago and then brought her to Epstein, trafficked her from Mar-a-Lago and then brought her to Epstein. And then in the criminal trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Jeffrey Epstein's right hand, the trafficker for Epstein is Ghislaine Maxwell. Remember, Trump was asked about Ghislaine and Donald Trump was asked, well, what do you want to say to her? She's in a federal criminal trial for trafficking. Donald, what are you going to say about her? What Donald Trump said is, I wish her well. Here, play this clip.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
You can go back to Donald Trump's past in the early 1990s when he hosted the Look of the Year competition with 14-year-old girls. This is documented and undisputed. There was a party, a yacht party Trump was on in Manhattan, the Spirit of New York, where 14-year-old girls were brought on this yacht. Donald Trump and older men were on the yacht, according to the Guardian article. The older men, old enough to be the girls' grandparents. Here are the photos of the girls, by the way. And here's another photo of the girls with Trump taking a photo with the girls from the Look of the Year. But look at that first photo. I mean, that's horrifying that that was Trump's business, doing events with girls that age dressed like that. Let's just put that into perspective for a second. And then the men old enough to be the girls' grandparents would grind on the girls. Completely disgusting, absolutely disgusting stuff. Then you have Donald Trump bragging that he would look at the girls from his pageant naked, and he told Howard Stern that he's the head of the competition, so he gets to do it. He said he gets to do it. Here, play this clip.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. Right, I want to make sure that
you're like
everything
a doctor.
is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely sickening to hear him say that. Here's what he said about Lindsay Lohan when Lohan was either 17 or she had just turned 18 years old, and Donald Trump started fantasizing about sexual relations with Lohan because Donald Trump believed that she has mental health issues and said that would make her better for him to have sex with. Here, play this clip.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan, Howard?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
If the father's a wreck like the way he is,
Right.
you imagine the sex with this troubled...
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day...
How come the deeply troubled women,
Yes.
deeply, deeply troubled,
Right.
they're always the best in bed? If for some reason what I said is true, I mean, they're just unbelievable.
I can tell from the...
You don't want to be with them for the long term, but for the short term, there's nothing.
By the way, here are just some other women who talked about how Donald Trump would, during the beauty pageants, would inspect the girls changing or the women naked, just so you hear other perspectives firsthand of women who were in the beauty pageants. Here, play this clip.
Is it normal to see men in dressing rooms at pageants and the owner of a pageant?
No. The director of the North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Alabama pageants, it's very much a family atmosphere. She doesn't even go backstage when the girls are getting ready. Only the female chaperones are allowed backstage in the dressing rooms with the girls. I've never had an experience where there were men or directors or anything like that walking back in the dressing rooms.
Yeah. As I understand, there you have an experience of something that happened the night before the pageant?
Well, not the night before the pageant, but when we were in New York City on the media tour, they were doing a book launch at Trump Towers for the Universal Beauty book, and they had a bunch of former Miss USAs and Miss Universes and all 51 of us, and we did the red carpet, and that was tons of fun. And then they lined us all up, and Trump went down the line, and he shook your hand and, looked you over, looked you up and down, head to toe, and was just checking everybody out.
And you thought you felt?
I felt very dirty. It was very creepy. It's kind of like when you're at a bar and a creepy guy is checking you out. That was the experience for me.
Here's Tasha Dixon, Miss Arizona 2001, talking about what Donald Trump would do. Play this clip.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked.
As Miss Arizona 2001, Tasha Dixon competed in the Miss USA pageant. Donald Trump owned the contest along with Miss Universe and Miss Teen USA for 19 years.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis. To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him.
And Dixon has strong opinions about what she thinks were Trump's motivations.
I'm telling you, Donald Trump owned the pageant for the reason to utilize his power to get, around beautiful women.
Dixon, who lives in West Hollywood, was 18 at the time.
Who do you complain to? He owns the pageant. So there's no one to complain to. Everyone there works for him.
The year she competed, the theme was empowering women. And after hearing recent audio of Trump talking about women, she decided to speak out.
I miss Arizona, so I veer more on the conservative side. But I just like to choose what's right.
And then we prepared this video at the Midas Touch Network. We produced this video yesterday, and it shows Vice President Kamala Harris's interactions with children, Donald Trump's interactions with children. Let me show you this clip. Play it.
You never have to ask anyone permission to leave. Now, what you remember, you never have to ask anyone permission to leave. Yeah, what is it? Never ask. Here, you want to give him the right? When you're ready to leave, you just leave. Okay? Yeah?
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Chloe already has her cape on. That's Miss Harris.
Oh my goodness! You wore your cape! I forgot to wear my cape. Yeah, look at you. Come here, let me see you.
You want to go around? We'll get a photo of you.
Everybody wants
What are, and so, are you here to talk to the other superheroes? Yeah, did you talk to them about the own? Yeah, what are we going to do when we take it? We're going to be strong. Work hard. Fine. Remember all that? Yeah?
What does Tiffany have of yours, and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
She's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
My sister's name is Maya. She's usually with me. Let me see you, Maya. Let me see you.
Hold that chin up, you hear me? You always hold that chin up, okay? If you don't make it, I'll take it.
You will? Okay. Well, then we have a plan.
Really beautiful is Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton. And I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12.
She's hot.
Her parents are friends of mine. And, you know, the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and said, who the hell is that?
Did you want to bang her?
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like
everything
a doctor.
is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
And just here's some clips of how Donald Trump talked about his daughter Ivanka. Play this clip.
She does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know.
Okay, Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
If I weren't happily married and, you know, her father.
My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
By the way, your daughter.
She's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous.
She's tall.
She's almost 6 feet.
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
And by the way, I've shared this before, Ivana's deposition testimony where she accused Donald Trump of raping her. And then she took it back and said that she didn't mean it in a literal sense. And she asked for a retraction in the book that reported on her deposition. And she said, I didn't mean it in a literal sense. After Trump's lawyers got involved, and I think she had to sign a kind of a non-disclosure agreement or a legal agreement there. But, you know, this is the Pandora's box that J.D. Vance wants to chat about and talk about. You know, look, it's the same J.D. Vance during that interview who said, basically, the polls are all rigged to suppress Republican votes right now. This is what he said. Play it.
How does that not line up then with another poll we got out this morning, Washington Post, ABC? They're giving the vice president nationally a 4 to 5 point lead over. I mean, those are new numbers. So if you think the momentum is not swinging or your internal polls are suggesting differently, every other poll that's been released has shown great momentum in her direction.
You know, Shannon, I think there are a lot of polls that actually show her stagnating and leveling off. Of course, ABC Washington Post was a wildly inaccurate pollster in the summer of 2020. And look, if you see the numbers that we're seeing and you actually talk to the American people, I feel extremely confident that we're going to be in the right place come November. We can't worry about polls. We have to run through the finish line and encourage everybody to get out there and vote. But our message is going to be very simple. If you want to get back to the peace and prosperity, the rising take-home pay, Donald Trump delivered it once and he can do it again. If you want to double down on the failed policies that have delivered higher food prices and higher housing prices, well, Kamala Harris has been vice president for 3.5 years, and I guarantee she's going to make the problem worse if the American people give her a promotion.
So
the thing we have to remember, one final point, let me just say one final point on this, Shannon, because I think it's important. Consistently, what you've seen in 2016 and 2020 is that the media uses fake polls to drive down Republican turnout and to create dissension and conflict with Republican voters. I'm telling you, every single person who's watching this, the Trump campaign is in a very, very good spot. We're going to win this race. We just have to run through the finish line.
Okay.
Well, JD, you allowed me to bring out those receipts, so that's who you want to talk about. If that's the, you want to bring that up. I know we all, you all said the Epstein list, reveal the list. Okay, well, Trump's all over it. He's on the call logs, he's on the message logs, he's on the flight logs. During the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, someone who was 14 years old at the time said that Epstein introduced her to Trump when she was 14. It's all over. It's all over. You have the list now. It's in deposition testimony. Think about it. Hit subscribe. I want to get to 3 million subscribers this month. This week, I want to get to 3 million. Let's do it.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the Midas Touch newsletter at MidasTouch.com/newsletter.